Hi. Okay. I'm gonna stand by that intro even though I actually, no, I thought it went so much better in my head. I didn't even do it as good as I wanted. But I'm here to tell you, in honor of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Part 3, coming out today at midnight. I think it's today at midnight. Today or tomorrow. I don't know. I'm here to tell you it's bad. Okay, now I know y'all gonna hate me already. I know you're already gonna hate me. But don't take this the wrong way. I loved the series. I liked the series. Except for the fact that the story was bad. Well, the story and the dialogue. Okay, so I already love, I think a lot of us are just watching it because one, the Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and two, like witchcraft and dark stuff, and like we all, for some reason, culturally, right now, we all are hype in that kind of stuff. We're all edgy and weird, I guess, and we like Satanism and magic and voodoo and all this cool stuff. And so, that's the thing. I loved the series because I kept watching it because of that. Except, now that I look back on it, I binged it, right? I binged it just like this last month, like maybe 2 weeks ago. I started it and I finished it in like 2 days. I liked it because I just like all that weird culty shit, except the series wasn't good at all. Okay, so let's start it off. Okay, Ross Lynch. Okay, some of the actors I know their names, some of them I don't. So I'm gonna go by like I'm just gonna describe them. So we're gonna start from the beginning. Ross Lynch is there for actually no reason. Okay, so at first, for like maybe the first half of the first part, it was like, oh, it's all spicy and edgy, because we're like, oh no, is she gonna tell him she's a witch, and is she gonna lose the guy she loves because of being a witch? That's so sad, we don't want him to ever find out. Except, okay, then we find out, and then she makes it, like in the first or second episode, we find out, and then, because she's gonna go sign her name in the Book of the Beast, and then she kisses him, he forgets, and then later, like, stuff happens. So they set her up, right, to sign in the Book of the Beast, except, like, if it was so clear that everyone is so reliant on me doing this, I would literally not do it. And of course, she does end up not doing it, but that's because she's taking this whole feministic approach. And don't get me wrong, okay, I'm gonna go further in that later, but I love the whole feminism behind this fucking series. It's so, I love feminism hits me so good. But they do it so badly. Like this, okay, one thing that I have a problem too with, okay, in the grand scheme of the series, besides just like the chronology of the plot that I'm gonna go into, it's so dumb. The dialogue they do is so dumb because I get with their aunts because they're older and everything, but this chick like grew up at this age and she's been aging normally right now because she's 16. And the dialogue that they choose for her is so, like, matter-of-factly, and like, oh, well, you know, despite all these differences, I do believe. And she, like, goes so, like, formally, and then sometimes, like, it's dumb. There's no, I guess, you could be like, yes, because the way she grows up with her aunts, but she's also being around all her friends in high school and all this, and she wouldn't be talking like that. And she takes this, like, matter-of-factly, like, this is how things are, like, olden speech pattern in weird situations, and it's so dumb. It's completely unnecessary, and like you could argue that there is reason, but there really isn't. The dialogue choices are awful, and also some of the ways the characters act are absolutely dumb. And let me get back to why the Ross Lynch character, Harvey, right? Harvey is there for actually no reason past the first point. They just kept him in because she was dating the token character, the black girl, you know? Except fortunately, she's not just like, go girl. Like at least she has some relevant plot to this, except, you know, she was just made to... Okay, so everyone has some kind of supernatural power for no reason, and Harvey is literally just a normal guy, except his parents are witch hunters, except that had almost nothing to do with the plot, except for like those 2 episodes where they're like, oh, his family's a witch hunter, I don't want to help him, but I like Sabrina, so I'm gonna help him because she told me to, and she likes you, so I guess I like her, and I'm gonna do what she says. Super dumb. And so, Sabrina, you know, she's a witch, crazy cool, and then she doesn't sign her name in the Book of the Beast, and then she later does because she was coerced into it because the, Lilith freaking makes it so because she brings back the 13 witches that were originally hanged in Salem. Also, I like Salem being in this, except he doesn't really talk, which is nice, I guess. I know they had to do things different than the original series, and I guess adding a voice to the cat would be kind of weird, and it seems silly, especially because they'd have to animate it, and back then they just used a puppet, so it was easier that way, but... What else? The series. Okay, so, I don't get at all, there's actually no freaking reason that Theo, I don't remember their former name, but now Theo, the trans kid, in case you're not in the very beginning. Oh, yeah, spoiler alert, my bad. And I don't like that Theo can just see a fucking ghost. What was the point of that? And he finds his trunk, and he's like, oh, this olden ghost dressed like a kind of butchy and like a dude, so I am trans. And I know that's not why they're trans, but it's like, that was the only motivation for the ghost to be there, except now the ghost in really weird situations is telling him to commit like crimes or something, and I'm like, don't listen to the freaking ghost, dude. I know you're on your trans adventure, but that's not really, like, being trans doesn't mean being a bad person. Stop doing hood shit just because your ghost grandmother or something said so. Oh my god. There's actually no relevancy to that. There's no point to that. There's no point to that. And then the cunning thing, you know, you would think if they were like, oh hey, if I cure your eyesight, when this was in part 2, where she's like becoming better than God and better than Lucifer or something, when she's like curing her eyesight, she would have been like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna take away your cunning. Are you sure you want to do that? Because the only reason they have their cunning is because she was cursed. And then that just didn't, none of the characters were like, I don't know if I'm gonna lose the cunning. It didn't process by anyone that, oh hey, I could lose my power that was given to me because I was cursed. But except they argued that they don't know that that's why they have the power. It's dumb. No, they were so dumb. And then the whole point, one thing that bothered me so bad, thinking back on it, is the angels, the archangels or whatever, that came back. They came back only for the plot device of being like, oh, Sabrina's like God now. And only to set her up to be like, Satan's right hand or whatever. I knew that we're focusing on witchcraft and all that, and they call other god the false god, and you would think they would add that kind of stuff into the series more. Like, they only had that in the series for that one part. They only had these angels who were gonna kill these people. They were killing everybody, only to be overtaken by Sabrina in like the next episode, like that. So dumb, super dumb. Like, yeah, she died, but we knew she wasn't gonna die because there was like 6 episodes left, and they released this as a season. So I'm like, no, we already know she's not gonna die. So what are they gonna do now? She's gonna reincarnate and come back to life because she's somehow super powerful and no one knows why. Yeah, that's not a good storytelling device. And I know that, like, you can argue that you don't know everything that's gonna happen because the mystery behind the dad and all this. So dumb. Also, another dumb thing, when Satan was coming himself, the Wicked Sisters, or the Weird Sisters, were trying to kill Father Blackwood, right? And you would think that would have gone any better. Like, even if it was even more dramatic, or they got punished for it, you know, you would think that would have shown anything. But they had that little scene, and he was like, oh, a nosebleed. And he's like, that must mean, what the heck? And then he goes out, they're doing it, and he's like, oh, stop, I don't care, whatever silly thing you're doing. Are you kidding? These 3 chicks are trying to kill him. 1, why didn't it happen quicker? 2, he could have been like, oh, the thing about witchcraft in this is that clearly no one has any idea what anyone's doing at all when they do any kind of spell, because you would think these girls who always do all these things, you'd be like, oh, they're doing something raggedy and ruckusy and fussing around, except no one knows any kind of witchcraft except when they themselves are doing it. Another quarrel that I had with part 1, when I forgot the dream demon, the sleep nightmare demon that possesses all of them and goes into the dreams and gives them nightmares or whatever, the freaking, when she goes into Aunt Hilda's, I don't know, one of the Aunt Zelda, when she goes into Aunt Zelda's dream, she like kills her sister for the last time, and then she doesn't reincarnate, and Satan's like, oh, she's not coming back anymore, and then she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I always treated her like crap, and then she doesn't kill her anymore, but she's still really just shitty to her sister for actually no reason. And if you're gonna use that as a point for sympathy for Zelda, you would think you would actually keep that and make her a better person progressively for her sister, except that doesn't happen. Her sister still bends back and forth for this girl. She killed the freaking girl who was like bullying her at the school, the other teacher or whatever. She kills this chick. She goes to like the high council of arch-priests or whatever and kills one of them too because they were somehow messing with Zelda. And I'm like, dude, Zelda is doing absolutely nothing for you, and I get that you can love your sister. I get that. But you would think the sister would actually treat her better despite always telling her. She always tells her like, shut up, this and that. She always just shuts her down immediately, and I hate it. I hate when they do that to like absolutely nice characters for no reason. And like clearly this other sister, Aunt, has like this whole badass side of her because she knows like herbology and she can like do all these things, and they have the dirt that can reincarnate people. Like, she clearly has her own set of skills that are awesome, and she goes under it by the guise of being sweet, but she's still a sweet person, and so like she just knows all these things, and so she's cool. The other thing that the other Aunt, Zelda, she is literally just a shit person, and all she does is care about being like high priestess, I guess, except that wasn't really her motivation. Her motivation was literally just licking freaking Satan's hooves. Like, the whole series. She's like, everything she did was for Satan, and Satan doesn't give a crap about her. And now, the final point in all that, like, the Satan thing. If you're speaking of deities, you can't have them be so normalized. And if he came in his human form, like, yeah, you can be like, okay, maybe he was weaker because he was in human form. Except that was kind of like a bigger thing. He was coming in human form because he had that power now, I think it was. And so I'm like, you can't have him do all these things. You can't just have these, like, 7 groups of witches take down a deity because they feel like they can or they want to, and the dad made this cool... They put him in Gavin Leatherwood's body, right? Gavin Leatherwood, I don't know his name in the series, I just know it because I follow him on Instagram. Super gorgeous. But I hate how that added him for, like, no reason. The whole, like, oh, they introduced him early on just because they were like, oh, let's see if she's more compatible with the witch side of her life than the human side of her life. She's gonna have more relatable things to this guy because they can both do magic and stuff. And, like, that was dumb. And I mean, yeah, they're dating now, but that's also dumb. Also, oh my god. I just hate this series so much. Like, it's great because I love witchcraft and just all that dark shit, but this series is just so bad. They only added him for, like, that. And all he is eye candy, right? He does nothing. And I guess it was a nice twist when they were like, oh, Satan asked me to just get to know you. I swear that was it. Like, I was like, okay, I guess. I loved when she spit in his face. That shit slapped. I was like, that hit different. Also, you would, like, I know that your teacher is somehow a witch now, and you were like just young, old, naive Sabrina, and you're like, oh my gosh, another witch, my favorite teacher, wow, she's my BFF now. So, I guess I'll learn everything from her. You would think to, like, ask more things or something, and, oh my god, this series is so bad. This series is so bad. The Weird Sisters, I guess they're just racist towards mortals, because they were just like, oh, we don't care about helping you, we just like bullying this person. And I was like, okay, and that's their whole plot. And, like, she helps her sometimes. And why was Constance still a piece of crap to her after she saw Sabrina reincarnate? Like, she saw her reincarnate, right? And she was like, wow, when I saw her reincarnate, I cried. And I was like, okay, then maybe stop being so skeptical towards her, when later she was trying to have her own congregation to teach people about newfound witchcraft feminism that her dad, like, lived by, I guess. And just, I like that you can make a character, you can just hate them solely off sexism, because you're like, wow, Mr. freaking Blackwood is just the worst. I hated him so much. But I just, there were so many ways that they could have taken him out that would have been so much easier. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys know Voodoo. What are the stories with the thing with, there's just so many things that are poorly written in the series. Like, I guess it's just convenient for shock factor when they killed the first sister to have just soil that reincarnates people. I guess the black dude, cousin of Sabrina, is just there. I'm sure I didn't miss this. I'm sure I didn't miss why he's there. I don't think it was because he was trying to kill the Vatican or whatever. I also didn't like that they made him bi or gay, but because I guess, yeah, like, socially they all are that way, but are they really? There was no need for that orgy, you know, like, there just really wasn't. And then, this series is bad. Stuff about her mom, they just brought her in conveniently when they wanted to. When there was that other witch who was gonna take the son or whatever, then just came in the mother of freaking Sabrina, and she said so-and-so, something like that. And they're like, oh my gosh, we were killed in a fire. And it's like, oh my gosh, the plane murder was on purpose. And you're like, wow, I really hate sexist people. And, like, yeah, I hate the patriarchy so bad. But that wasn't, like, having that, they only had that point come up, like, a couple times, and then they would just skim over it for, like, a long time and just never address it. And, like, every episode in itself feels like it has no relevance to other things, except, like, in part 2, where there was those episodes of just, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go, like, these 7 things or whatever, these, like, unholy miracles that she did. Those were, like, the only times anything actually mattered, aside from, like, signing the Book of the Beast. And that's, like, okay, what's the point of the rest of the series, honestly? Theo should not be talking to a ghost at all. There's no reason for that. The Oracle that was Lilith, that, like, who was reading the cards, like, I guess that was cool, but that didn't really help anything. It just made you fill in the rest of the story of what could happen if they did this. That's dumb. Lilith just turning sides left and right when she was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be her right hand, so I gotta sabotage Sabrina. But then she's like, oh no, I accidentally also made her still complete all the 7 things because I was dumb, and I'm just somehow, despite every instance that clearly showed that Satan did not care for me, I still told myself I'm gonna be at his right side. That's her fault. That's dumb. Again, Harvey plays no part in this, aside from being like, I saw the devil in the cave once, and his family's witch hunters, which never came up again, like the freaking angels. The black chick, I don't know what she does, aside from like warn people that something's gonna happen. I mean, she's not a token character exactly, because she also just doesn't show up. But like, yeah, they're still best friends, and I guess that was just the whole like love triangle. That's the thing. The love triangle thing with Harvey and her and Sabrina. There's no point because they kept going back and forth between yes, she still loves him, and yes, he still loves her. But then all these things keep happening. Except it was dumb. It was dumb. Putting her with her friend was solely for that purpose, to have that love triangle aspect and be like, what's gonna happen? But then you also introduce Gavin Leatherwood, and you're like, oh, okay, now there's 4 people, and that like Sabrina only cares for that guy, and he's just jealous of Harvey, and that was it. And this is the plot. Oh my god, everything they're trying to do is so bad. The overarching story is cool just because I like feminism, but the rest of the story, wow. Like, is there any story? I don't know. It's just cool because it's just like, oh, witchcraft, and you're seeing all these things that you've heard about in witchcraft happening, and you're like, wow, they're in limbo, and witchcraft, and voodoo, and the talking boards, and a seance, and you're like, wow, this is all really cool. It's like, it'd be cute to have all that stuff in this modern day and age, except they're like a little bit behind because they still have landlines, I guess. But the plot, nothing. The plot is actually so dumb. I I do love the guy who they cast to play Satan because wow, he's gorgeous. Good for him. I'm like, that would be Satan to me. I'd be like, wow, this guy, I'm gonna follow him and do whatever he wants. What else? Is there any, I want to say that I remember a lot of the series, but a lot of this was just kind of like, some of it was just things that took 1 or 2 episodes that really didn't affect anything. Like having Krampus be a thing, I guess they just did that for a freaking Christmas episode, if that was what that was supposed to be. And like the Yule thing, like that was cute, I guess, because they're like, wow, it's not Christmas because they're witches. Wow. Like, okay. It's just, I feel like it's trying to do all these cute things and being like, oh, this is like everything modern that we do with a cute little witchcraft twist, but it also doesn't really help the plot or anything. It's just cool, the scenic view to finally having a story in part 2, because like the only thing that was happening in season 1 was, oh, Theo might be trans and Sabrina's using her witch powers, and now she's actually like full witch, and she has to do Satan's bidding whenever that's gonna be you. And that was it. Theo being trans didn't really matter. Her love story mattered, I guess. Not really. Like, it was, like, since, that's the thing, the whole story being so feministic, or her being so feministic, and everything, like, having a new school, having a little group in school, so that people, with, like, women would be able to talk about things, and then being like, oh, yes, high priestess, I'm gonna be, like, the right hand to say, like, there's so many feministic views, but yet she is still, not exactly the damsel in distress, but she is doing absolutely everything because of men. Like, men drove so much of her, like, reason in the story, and it's so bad. Like, I guess you could be like, yes, that's this whole, like, concept of, like, it's like this whole, freaking analogy for the patriarchy still controlling women, even though they have no idea. Except I know damn well that they wouldn't think of that. They'd just be like, oh, I'm just writing this stupid fucking story, and I'm gonna put feministy views because everyone likes feminism right now. And like, yeah, I guess, I like feminism, I love feminism, but the things that you're doing for the story, you're still having her do absolutely everything because of men. Like, she only became a witch fully to save her friends, which I guess, like, yeah, like, at least she's not denouncing that human side of her, but that also was kind of the only reason, and like, everything she almost didn't become a full witch because of Harvey, and like her friends, but like, you know, it was mainly because of Harvey, I guess, and now everyone, like, all of the girls have magic cool stuff, and the guys are just kind of there. And like, the only actual other guys who played a part in anything were the love interest, Gavin Leatherwood, and who's the other guy? Oh my god, who's the other guy? Oh, Blackwood, which is the antagonist. And I'm like, okay, so even still, everything she's doing, it's in accordance to a man acting on it, I guess. like her villain is like the dude, and I guess like you could be like, yeah, he's the patriarchy, and that's kind of it. And like, yeah, I hate the guy. Patriarchy sucks, but it's, oh my god, this story, it's so bad. See, part 2, I feel like you could have made all of this into one season and just split it up into parts and cut out so much filler, and it would have been just as good. Because I didn't, like, in none of these episodes, it felt like everyone character reset every episode. Like, Constance, Cadence, I don't know, the black weird sister, she kept just going back and forth between being like, yeah, Sabrina, you really look like you could have what it takes to be a witch in our school, and just to bullying her again, and then doing stuff with her for her. Like, they did the seance for no reason aside from like, oh yeah, we're fellow orphans, we don't know our moms. Like, that's not helping Credence, I don't, what the heck her name is. That's not helping her at all. And then she's just so crappy when the cousin gets caught, and there was no point to that, especially because they were kind of lovers, but she's like, oh, now that I have Father Blackwood's real name, I'm gonna do everything that I can for him again, even though he, like, clearly just shits on her all the time. I'm like, how can you be, I guess that, like, I've never really cared about family names, but you can't, like, are you really gonna bend over that backwards that much to just be shit on all the time? Like, dog. This series, oh, this series sucks. I'm gonna watch part 3, because, okay, part 3. Okay, so in the end of season 1, or part 2, in the end of part 2, they trap Satan in Gavin Leatherwood's body, and that's cool and all, and then Lilith becomes, the king of hell, but, the queen of hell. And she grants them stuff, but she takes Gavin Leatherwood with her. And then, at the very end of the series, it's like she's talking with Harvey and Theo and the other girl, and like, oh yeah, we're gonna be like a supernatural group of people, and we're gonna do stuff. Are you guys sure? It's gonna be dangerous. And they're like, yeehaw, we're all gonna help you, Sabrina. We love you. And then she's like, okay. I was like, this is the dumbest thing. She's like, okay, our first mission is to get my boyfriend back. Shut the hell up. Shut up. Shut up. Is this gonna be season 3? Or is this gonna be part 3? Because I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because I follow her on Instagram, and she's cute, and I love her. But that's it. And the acting, ooh. The acting isn't great. The concept for season 3 sounds awful. Like, are you just gonna go to hell and get Satan? Like, how are you gonna put Satan back? I don't know. I'm sure they'll find some bull crap plot armor way to somehow freaking beat a literal deity that is Satan, who they all renounce their name to and they are subservient to, but they just don't care. Like, I'm sure he can make you do whatever he wanted to if he wanted to, but somehow you guys still, like, aren't. So dumb. The plot's really gonna be, we're gonna try to get my boyfriend back. Like, shut up. That's a terrible leeway for season 3. Just let the series end. Like, that's it. You know, like, you could be like, oh yeah, I got what I want. I got all my witch powers back, and I'm cool. And now we have a queen of hell. That's awesome. The concept for season 3 sounds awful. It looks cute, but I just like the actress mainly. The acting, I don't know. I don't know if that's good. When she sang Masquerade, that slapped. That was super cool. And then I saw her dancing and being cool on her Instagram stories, and I was like, I guess that's one of the reasons she got, like, noticed by Hollywood, because she's small and blonde and cute. And she could dance, I guess, and I guess sing, but acting, no. Acting is not where it's at. Acting is not where it's at for any of these people. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing Ross Lynch and other stuff because I loved Austin and Ally. The other people, I'd never seen them in anything at all, like any of them, any single person in that show. I had not seen them in anything else, not even Sabrina. No one in that, like, everyone is new to me. So I guess that's like, yay, they're adding other people, but like, is it worth it if the acting's like subpar? Like, I get like Kieran Shaprishka or whatever, I don't know. Like, yeah, she can cry, that's good. Like, she cried over really lame dialogue, so that doesn't really help, but it shows that she can act if she can cry to terrible dialogue that even just she was saying so half-assedly. And like, the acting didn't even get better for part 2. Like, you would think, you know, like, we're just testing the waters for the first season, but it's just not. This series, oh my, ooh, the gays, when they hear this, are gonna be quaking because everyone lives by this show. This show sucks. Like, just admit it. It's fun, it's cool, you like witchcraft and Halloween and cool stuff like that, like that dark shit, but it's not a good series. Also, I finally did an outro. I should do an intro for my videos, but that depends on what I'm talking about. If I ever centralize my freaking video on a core thing, then I'll probably be like, oh, this is going to be the intro for this, and then if I ever decide to make sub things, which I probably will, like a gaming one and a freaking drama one, maybe? Movie review? I don't know. Like, I'm going to do freaking reviews on one side for sure, but I made an outro. I'm lit about that. So, that's going to play in a little bit. I don't know which way I should point. If I'm looking, let me see. This way. I think that's the way the videos end. So, it's going to be, as soon as that's further in, the outro is going to play. And that's it. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I stand by this. You cannot tell. I watched the same series you did, and I know it's not good. It's not good. Right? Okay? Look, that's it. Look at me. It's not good. It's not a good show. I hate to break it to you. I really do. Because, like, I liked it. I enjoyed it. But I know everyone's going to hate me. Especially because part 3 is coming out tomorrow and the series is just so bad. I'm probably going to upload this as soon as I can because I'm recording this at like 5:20. And it comes out at midnight, I think. And I don't know how long it's going to take to upload. But I'm going to try to do that as quick as I can. So, I guess bye for now. You can tell me I'm wrong. Like, dislike. I don't really care. Because this series, like, that's not going to change my opinion. Like, ooh, you know. Like, maybe I'm just speaking against the choir, and it's like, okay, I'm just going against the majority, and that doesn't mean I'm wrong. That just means you people like these things more than I do, and that's it. But, I guess that's it. Bye.